Okay, so today we're going to talk about something most of us would rather, well, not talk about: estate planning. Yeah, I know, it can feel a little heavy, but trust me, getting this right, it's probably one of the most important things you can do for the people you care about. So let's just dive right in.
I mean, really think about this for a second. You spend your whole life working hard, you save, you invest, you build something. But what happens to all of it when you're gone? Is there a plan? Do you know for sure who's going to benefit? And, maybe just as important, is it going to be a smooth process for them?
Look, if just thinking about this makes your head spin, you're definitely not alone. The truth is, it is overwhelming. It's complex, it's emotional, and that's totally normal. But the whole point of this explainer is to cut through all that anxiety and give you some real clarity, and maybe even a bit of confidence.
So to get that clarity, let's just start at square one. What are we even talking about when we say estate planning? What is it really? It's probably not as scary as it sounds.
At its core, it's pretty simple. Estate planning is just you creating a clear set of instructions for what happens to your stuff. You know, your house, your investments, maybe a business, when you're no longer here. The whole idea is to make sure it gets to the people or the causes you care about, and to make that whole transfer as easy and efficient as possible. Okay, but why is this so important? I mean, really, why does it matter? Because a good estate plan isn't just some dusty old legal document sitting in a drawer. It's a real, living strategy that's designed to do some very specific, very powerful things for your family. Let's run through what a good plan actually accomplishes. First, it puts you in the driver's seat, deciding who's in charge. Second, it's all about minimizing those annoying fees and, more importantly, the taxes. Third, it's about making sure the transfer is smooth and not a total nightmare for your family. And maybe the biggest one of all, a clear plan helps stop those awful family fights before they can even start, because there's no confusion.
Now, I just mentioned minimizing taxes, and that's a big deal, because in Canada there's this one single tax hurdle that, well, it makes estate planning an absolute must-have. If you're not ready for it, it can have a huge, huge impact.
And here it is, the big one. It's called deemed disposition. It sounds kind of technical, I know, but it's a core piece of Canadian tax law that kicks in the moment someone passes away. And honestly, just understanding what this is, that's half the battle.
So what the heck is deemed disposition? Well, think of it this way. The government basically pretends that on the day you die, you sold everything. All your stocks, your mutual funds, any property that isn't your main home, poof, it's all sold in their eyes. Now, of course, no real sale happened, but your estate still gets stuck with the tax bill on all the profit those assets made over the years. It's a real shocker if you're not expecting it.
This really lays out the two different realities, doesn't it? On one hand, while you're living, you're just watching your investments grow. You're not touching them, you're not selling. But then, the instant you're gone, the tax man sees it completely differently. It's like a giant sell all button gets hit, and the consequences can be massive. Let's say your investments grew by $1 million over the years. Suddenly, your estate could get slapped with a tax bill for hundreds of thousands of dollars. And where does that money come from? Often, it means your family has to sell the very assets you wanted them to have just to pay the taxes.
Okay, that sounds pretty scary, right? But this is precisely why having a plan is so critical. Deemed disposition is a huge challenge, for sure, but it's not a problem without a solution. With the right strategy, you can absolutely manage it.
So what does that strategy look like? Well, it's about getting the right people on your team. You've got experienced consultants giving you advice, making sure your estate plan and your retirement plan are actually talking to each other. They help you get a solid will drafted. But the real magic is the tax strategy. They can set up things to soften the blow from deemed disposition, like using trusts or even a life insurance policy that's specifically designed to pay off that future tax bill. The point is, they build a shield, and they're there to help your family navigate everything when it's time.
At the end of the day, all this stuff, the planning, the talk about taxes, the strategies, it all comes back to one simple thing. It's about making sure that what you've built goes where you want it to go, and that your family is looked after.
Because really, that's what this is. It's an act of care. The real win isn't just about saving money on taxes. It's about taking a really difficult time for your family and making it as smooth and secure as you possibly can. It's about making sure everything you worked for is a gift, not a problem they have to solve.
So that really just leaves one last question, and it's for you. When you think about everything you've worked so hard for, and more importantly, everyone you've worked for, is your plan in place to protect it all?